My name is Dallas Hartman. I'm an artist who deals mainly with photography and digital art, but I also like to dive into other mediums such as sculptures and drawings. So a little bit about myself. I was born in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. I attended school at West Virginia University for digital design, and then I moved to Florida and I switched to a major of photography. These are a few people that inspire me. Lori Nix, Kathleen Gerber, Zack Snyder, they all have such immaculate detail and such high intensity planning that creates such intense, beautiful cinematic pieces of art. Jay Howell and Dr. Seuss here, very lively, colorful. I like a lot of the curves, very natural shapes, and the sculptures that Dr. Seuss has made, and Jay Howell has made many, many characters that I enjoy every day. First of all, I will quickly run through my physical art to give you an idea of what kind of things I make. So these drawings on the left are kind of what started me as an artist. I had not taken an art class through all of primary school. I was in band and they didn't require it. So when I got to college and took my first drawing class, I discovered I kind of had a knack for art. The one on the right was one of my first sculptures. It's made of wires bent around my face to kind of create the image of my face. And when you look at it from any other angle than straight on, it's unrecognizable. On the left, you can see me painting of a wooden figure to blend into the background. And as you can tell by the clocks, I went from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I decided to stay up all night and work on this because I was really into it. And the one on the right is actually a picture of Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers, as that character is made by Jay Howell, who was featured earlier by my inspiration. I spray painted him on a bed sheet, and it turned out pretty nice. After moving to Florida, I realized I could learn how to skate given that it was rather flat here, so I decided to paint my first skateboard. The design I made on the left in Photoshop, and then I drew it out on the board and painted it over the course of a few days. The one on the right is a Scooby-Doo inspired, of course. I made a design that was stretched out a little bit so I could get the full Mystery Machine and all the characters exactly how I wanted it, and I painted that over the course of a few weeks. This is a sculpture I made of Deadpool, a Marvel character. I learned how to sculpt with this character actually. I studied a lot of human figures to kind of get the right shape as I was going. And after I got the right shape of the body, I started wrapping these comic book strips around him and make it look like he's emerging from the comic book, as if the character is breaking the fourth wall in a literal sense. This is an enlarged Lego Batman that I made. It is 2 feet tall, and you can see the scale in the middle picture there of the little Batman. I used my knowledge from earlier projects, cardboard, masking tape, painting, and I made all of these objects kind of work together. And I made them so they would act like real Lego pieces, so you can remove them and take them out as if it was a real Lego figure. This is when my sculpting got a little more advanced. I made a clay snowman there that I casted out of pewter metal, and after sanding and dremeling, it turned out very nice there. And on the right, you can see my planning stages up to the crafting. The bottom left is where it kind of destroyed itself, but I was able to put a lot of effort in it and bring it back to the piece I originally wanted. It was inspired by Dr. Seuss, the kind of curves and smooth details, and I love it. This project was where the prep work made the final product as immaculate as I could. I had a sketch of all the shapes and sizes I needed. I made several 3D models to get an idea of what this would look like in real life. And then I spent hours on hours in the shop cutting each piece very meticulously and sanding them down so they would match each other. And then after welding for around 24 hours over the course of a few weeks, I was able to come up with the sculpture on the far right. This is my current project, kind of a mix of sculpture and photography. I am making a bunch of little figures and a bunch of little props, and I'm going to make these little figures build a model pirate ship. And that's pretty much the concept. And it's going to be a photography set throughout their creation from start to finish. And hopefully it'll be done this year. Here's where I dive into the process just a little bit more. My initial idea pages are kind of chaotic and crazy. I use my sketchbook here and just throw down as many ideas as I can until I find something that really feels right. I also use my sketchbook for notes of the software I'm using, as well as draw some 3D designs of projects I might work on. Here's where I refine my ideas a little bit. I might draw some storyboards. Here I have some ideas of what I want the environment to look like. I have some props drawn as well as details of each board on the storyboard. This is kind of the final stage of production. I set up scenes for my photography and I set up my studio to work with sculptures and then the work starts. This is the equipment I use regularly. All the supplies on the left for different art sculptures and projects. The cameras on the right are a 1940s Rolleiflex camera, the Asahi Pentax 1960s film camera, and the Fujifilm 2020 camera. That one's kind of my daily driver as a digital camera, and the other two are the film cameras that I use most. My themes kind of revolve around like childish wonder and capturing moments of a story in as little information but as still as highly detailed as I can. I like seeing what can't be seen, whether that be with macro photography or scenes that I create. And I love working with my hands, whether it be with film or creating interesting sculptures. And now we can dive into my photography just a little bit. So this is my macro series. I wanted to see what I couldn't see, like tip of the ballpoint pens and chains. I want to see the light bulb filaments. I just wanted to get really close with this vintage lens that I got. I kind of just let it tell me what to shoot. Is a shoot shot with my Rolleiflex camera from earlier at just traversing the woods of West Virginia with a few of my friends and taking as many beautiful pictures as I could along the way. The one on the right was actually made with a wooden box called a pinhole camera. I went through a nature reserve and found these beautiful views. This is a series that kind of reflects my personal art a little bit more. They're very cartoonish, the comic book characters, the movie characters, and inspired by old cartoons like Wacky Races. I wanted to have these characters kind of battle their way out for a treasure in the end. It's a series of a character that I use a lot, this wooden doll. It's him traversing my apartment and finding all of his clothes he lost in an unfortunate event, which is featured on the bottom right there. And it's sort of a loop. And the one on the right is photos from my niece's second birthday. I did a small series there with my Rolleiflex to try and capture the light in as many beautiful ways as possible while still capturing the youth and innocence with her. Here's some references from some photos I didn't take and a beautiful photo of a leaf on the right. I really have to say thank you to all my professors and peers throughout the years. Starting out in art, I was kind of scared. I didn't really know what was going on, and each teacher took their time and had patience with me and really instilled some beauty of art in me throughout the years. Specifically, the art teachers at UNF, Professor Trice, Professor Callie, Professor Diaz have all pushed me as hard as I could to go and create beautiful images, and professors such as Jenny Hagar and her husband have taught me a lot about sculpture and how to slow down and kind of take your time to create the work you want to create. Thank you again.